Hey everybody, Ryan here at etrailer. Today on our 2024 Honda CR-V, we're going to be checking out the Thule T2 Pro XTR bike rack. So first impressions of the rack on the back of the CR-V, I think it's a good fit. It looks awesome. Thule makes really nice products. They have a timeless design, very user-friendly, and a platform style rack you really can't go wrong with. This particular one is going to be capable of holding up to 2 bikes, and the way it's going to do it is with a tire hook here. So this is going to apply pressure downward, keeping the bike secure. So if your bike's frame is made from metal or even carbon for that matter, it should work out really well, being that you won't have any frame contact. One of the things I really like about this particular rack is the fact that you can tilt it with your bikes on it still. That way you're able to get into the hatch. And it's more and more common nowadays for a lot of these platform style racks to have this feature, but what separates this one, at least from my experience, from a lot of the others, is a mechanism here. So this one's super easy to get to. It has a smooth pull. It just feels good as compared to some of the other styles. The levers kind of tucked up in here, kind of a weird mechanism. Sometimes they're just kind of awkward to actually operate. And that's not the case with this one at all. Very smooth. You can lower this down. That way if you forget to put something in the back of your Honda, or you want to take something out without having to unload everything, you're still able to get that done. Let's go ahead and get our bike off of the rack now so you can have a better look at it. The way it works is really simple. For the rear tire, you're just going to have these straps. You always want to start with these when you're taking this off. Just get them out of the way. And moving up to the front, we have our wheel hook. While I'm right here too, there's actually locks integrated into these arms, so you can lock everything down if you're going to be away for a while or something like that. But before you undo these, you want to make sure to grab a hold of your bike, because when we release this tension, there's really going to be nothing holding on to it. You don't want it to fall off, damage your bike, or your Honda for that matter. But just have a push button there, and even with these, the grips they feel good in your hand. Easy to operate. Squeeze that down. Lift up, fold this out of our way, and now we have enough room to get our bike removed and go do some riding. When you're not using the rack, you definitely want to push this down and store it out of the way flat. And something that I noticed with these are the cradles. All right, a lot of times with other racks, the cradles are there, they'll work with a lot of tires, but they're a little flimsy and they don't really support the tire at all, if that makes sense. And that's not the case with these. They're really deep. They're pretty thick plastic, a lot thicker than some of the other ones I've had experience with. And there's kind of some generic grooves in there too. So your road bike tire would fit in there. The mountain bike that we just sat in, that's what I was talking about. I noticed when I set it in there, it kind of cupped that tire a little bit and gave it a little more support. And you can even use fat tire bikes as well, up to 5 inches. So regardless of what you got, should be in pretty good shape. And the rack is going to be capable of managing 60 pounds a bike. And with these CR-Vs, usually the hitches are pretty stout, so you should be in pretty good shape even if you got real heavy bikes and this rack installed. Probably shouldn't run into any issues, but with that said, it is always a good idea to check in your owner's manual. That way you can make sure your Honda can support that much weight safely. For those of you wondering if you're going to be able to fit into your garage when you have the rack in place, give you a measurement to help you figure that out. And it's definitely understandable. I know personally, going riding in the morning, want to have my stuff loaded up, ready to go, right? And the rack takes up a little bit of space, but with it in this position, I'll go from the bumper to the very edge of the handle here. It's going to be about 38.5 inches. So keep that in mind. If you like to leave the rack on your CRV, you know, if you're in season or whatever and don't feel like taking it out, putting it in, so on and so forth, this does fold up into a stored position. And we just squeeze on our lever there, flips up, and now it's pretty compact actually. I'll say probably the furthest point is right here. Let's go from our bumper to it. And that looks like it's only going to add about 17 inches to the back of your CRV. So most cases, if you're pulling into your garage with it like this, probably shouldn't run into any issues there. But if need be, if you do want to get this removed, there's something pretty cool about this that makes it a little bit easier. One of the cool things about this rack that you don't really see all that often is it has some wheels on it, okay? And that way, whenever you're taking this off, it might be for the off season, or taking it off to put another accessory on or hook up to your trailer, whatever the case may be, it makes it a lot more manageable, you know, because this thing's super heavy duty, it's well built, so it's got a little weight to it. And because of those wheels, it's super easy to maneuver around and get out of the way or put in storage. When you're done storing the bike rack or using your other accessory and you want to put this on the back of your CRV again, really don't get much easier, and that's because it has a tool-free installation, more or less. It's going to work with the 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube openings like our CRV today. Vast majority of the CRVs out there are going to have this size hitch, but it has this integrated mechanism here that more or less acts as a pin and clip, so you don't have to deal with any separate parts. You slide it in, and then this handle here, whenever you tighten this down, it's going to act as an anti-rattle device, eliminating the slop and play in the connection point. And you can lock it too, so to keep it secure. And that lock will match the locks up on the wheel hooks too. So everything's the same. But back to this, when you tighten it down, it'll keep everything nice and quiet. So to give you an example of that, let's say if we're going down the road, hitting some bumps, you can see that the rack is going to move with our Honda and not on its own. Ultimately, at the end of the day, a really nice bike rack. You know, it's a great fit for the Honda, looks awesome, and is super easy to use and figure out. So what more can you really ask for? But with all that said, I think that'll about do it for our look at of the Thule T2 Pro XTR platform style bike rack on our 2024 Honda CRV.